If you feel more alive in front of a screen than with your wife in your arms, if you caught yourself thinking, I'd rather be alone with my phone than with her, and if you look at your wife's real body and feel nothing, then porn has already done more damage than you think. This isn't just a little private habit. It is one of the main reasons so many Catholic husbands feel cold toward their wives, resentful in the bedroom, and ashamed in front of God. Today, I want to talk about porn fallout, why it wrecks desire for your wife, what moral theology actually says about it, and how by grace and habit you can fight back as a man. So stay with me, because if you get this wrong, you don't just stay stuck in secret sin. You slowly deform your marriage, your headship, and your children's idea of what a man is. So here's a composite case pulled from the logs of the AI marriage coach Nolan Bot. Will, I'm a 39-year-old Catholic husband, 3 kids, decent job. I've used porn since my teens, on and off. I'm not binging every day, but when I'm stressed, tired, or rejected, I end up back on it. Now, I honestly feel more drawn to the screen than to my wife. I avoid the bedroom, or I rush through the act and feel nothing. I've confessed this 100 times, but I'm still stuck. How do I get my desire back for my wife and not feel like a hypocrite as a Catholic? So if that even half describes you, you're not uniquely broken. You're an ordinary man who's let a very powerful habit set up camp in his soul. So let's walk through what's actually happening. First, the biology and psychology. Porn is dopamine on steroids. Endless novelty, zero risk, zero real intimacy. Over time, your brain gets used to intense, artificial stimulation. It starts to need more novelty, more extremity to feel the same buzz. Real life, including your wife, feels flat by comparison. That's why so many men report needing more extreme content, escalating into things they once found disgusting, and feeling numb or unable to perform with a real woman. So, from a Catholic point of view, moral theologians like Callan and McHugh are very blunt. Deliberate use of pornography and masturbation is grave matter. Habitual indulgence makes the will more inclined to consent, and it darkens the mind, especially in love and chastity. St. Thomas says lust blinds the mind. You stop seeing a person to love, you only see a body to use. So when you say, I'm just not attracted to my wife anymore, we have to ask, what have you trained yourself to be attracted to? Because if you spent 10 or 20 years training your body and imagination to crave pixel perfect novelty, your wife was never meant to compete with that. So let me put this to you very directly. If your daughter married a man who looked at women the way you look at women, who treated his wife's body the way you treat your wife's body, who had the same hidden habits you have, would you be at peace? If the honest answer is no, then porn isn't just your private struggle. It's a direct attack on the husband and father you say you want to be. This isn't about wallowing in shame. It's about finally treating the enemy as an enemy. Now let's talk about what to actually do. This is why willpower alone keeps failing you. Most men try to quit porn with one tool: white knuckle willpower. They delete some apps. They make a big resolution. It lasts a few days, maybe even weeks. Then they have a bad day, a fight, or a rejection, and they're back. Aquinas would say you're trying to fight a habit with an occasional burst of effort. A habit is a stable quality in a power of the soul that makes certain acts easy, quick, and pleasant. You've done thousands of reps of going from boredom to porn, stress to porn, rejection to porn. So that means your imagination, your nervous system, your body has become inclined in that direction. Willpower is still real. You are still responsible. But that doesn't mean you should do the equivalent of trying to bench press 200 kilos after having done nothing but sit on the sofa for a decade. You don't need less effort. You need different effort. Now let's start with the sacramental bit. You must go to confession, honestly, concretely, without euphemisms. Not "I've had some struggles," but "I have deliberately used pornography and masturbation X times since my last confession." Moral theology is clear on this. If you deliberately keep near occasions of grave sin that you can reasonably avoid, that itself can be a serious fault. So that means having things like unfiltered smartphones or laptops, social media feeds that you know are near occasions of sin, the phone in bed, in the bathroom, or when you're alone at night. Scopoli in The Spiritual Combat says, don't trust yourself in the occasion. Just trust yourself and rely on God. So very concretely, put a serious filter on your devices. Remove private browsers, secret accounts, no phone in the bedroom or bathroom, and don't sit scrolling half naked on the sofa at midnight and call that just temptation. That's volunteering. You're a grown man, so stop pretending that these landmines have any place in your life. Now, here's the hopeful part. Your brain is plastic. With grace and habit, it can change. But you can't just stop porn in a vacuum. You have to turn toward your wife. Start with your eyes. When you see her, look at her. Notice the signs of love in her body, stretch marks, tiredness, lines of worry, and deliberately thank God. She has spent herself for me and our children. Next, your touch. Increased non-sexual affection, hugs, a kiss on the forehead, holding her hand. Stop making every touch a demand. Let your body learn again that her body is a place of safety and tenderness, not a vending machine. Then work on your imagination. When a porn image resurfaces, immediately turn your mind to something else. It could be a psalm. It could be the face of Christ. It could be your wife holding your child. You're not helpless in what you dwell on. As St. Philip Neri says, we must die at last. Do you want to die with a gallery of strangers burned into your mind? Finally, your admiration. Notice and name her virtues: patience with the kids, loyalty, humor, faith. Lust reduces a woman to just body parts, but love raises her up as a person. Now, attraction doesn't just float around. It actually follows what you focus on and attend to. So let me give you a 30-day plan you can start today. First, confession this week. Get there within the next 7 days. Make a specific purpose of amendment. I will keep my phone out of my bedroom and the bathroom. I will install a filter and give the password to my wife. Now, change your environment too, not just your feelings. Phone charges outside the bedroom. No browsing when you're alone at night. And turn off explore pages and follows that are clear temptations. Then, number 3, a daily short prayer of humility. Every day say, Lord Jesus, I cannot win this without you. Do not trust me. I do not trust myself. Help me love my wife and see women as you see them. That's straight out of Scopoli and St. Philip Neri. Deep distrust of self. Deep trust in God. And fourth, one deliberate act of affection toward your wife. Every day do one concrete thing to make her feel cherished. A sincere compliment, a gentle touch, or just taking something off her plate. Not to earn intimacy, but to become a better man. If you do that for 30 days, you will not be finished, but you will not be the same. And remember, porn thrives in isolation and secrecy. So one of the simplest upgrades that you can make in your approach to this is to tell one other serious Catholic man that you are fighting porn and exactly what your plan is. Then check in weekly with him, just briefly and honestly. Inside patriarchy.com, we have men doing this every day, fighting porn, rebuilding desire for their wives, and ordering their whole lives as husbands and fathers. If you want that kind of structure and accountability, then head over to patriarchy.com/start and join us. Now, 2 things for homework before you go. First, in the comments, without graphic detail, write, "I'm choosing chastity over porn this year." That simple public resolve will help other men. And number 2, send this video to one husband that you know is caught in this but ashamed to admit it. Remember, you're not just a collection of urges with a rosary stuck on the top. You're a Catholic man called to love one real woman, honorably and generously until death. Porn is training you for hell. Chastity is training you for heaven. So choose wisely, because you are always at the crossroads.